Hi, Gary Stearman. Time for another Prophecy Watchers update, and we have a very special guest in studio with us today. His name is Dr. Michael Lake, author of this book, The Shinar Directive. Mike Lake, welcome to Prophecy Watchers.
It's a pleasure to be here today, Gary.
Mike, you've got a lot to say, and we have just a few minutes to talk, but I want to talk about your book, and let's start with the word Shinar. Those who have attended church services over the years have probably heard that word, and they think it's a biblical word, but that's about all they know. What is Shinar?
In the valley of Shinar, there was a man named Nimrod that became something else according to the Word of God. He became a Gibborim. He became a giant. And there he established not only the Tower of Babel. When God interrupted that, he put forth a directive that was embedded into the mystery religions to complete the work of pulling the entire planet away from God, reestablishing a one-world religion, a one-world government, and a one-world monetary system. That everything that we see going on in the world today, that they're trying to erase national borders, they're trying to topple currencies to bring one currency, they're trying to wipe out all religion and bring under something else, all that was conceived in the Valley of Shinar.
So you're saying there's a single idea behind all these disparate things that are going on today, like the opening of the porous borders, so-called refugees flowing across borders in hundreds of thousands. You're saying there's a master plan behind that?
There's a master plan. Not only did Nimrod live and eventually died, and there's speculation on exactly what precipitated that, but that he's supposed to return. We call him the Antichrist. He's the son of perdition. The Luciferians believe that when he comes, that there are aspects of his transformation into a demigod that they're never going to perfect until they get the world in a specific place of recreating what he had at the Tower of Babel, of recreating what he had in Babylon. Once they get that world there, he's going to return and he's going to give them the final keys to becoming gods themselves.
Now, what I love about this book is the detail. We teach, as prophecy teachers, we teach about Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome, the world system. And we teach about the revived Roman Empire and the rise of the Antichrist and so forth as kind of history. And it becomes an objectified subject that doesn't really have anything to do with me personally. But when you look at this same system, you see it as something that assaults a personality. It's a battle at a personal level.
All you have to do, once God opens your eyes and you understand the dynamics that are in this book, you cannot watch the evening news without seeing it through different lenses, to seeing that they are literally working overtime to bring us to complete the unfinished work of Nimrod. And I believe we're going to see it in this generation, that it's that close. The Lord's return is that close. And so that means to me it's time for us to bring our A game in the kingdom of God.
Now, the A game would be to, first of all, to become wise to what's going on, the rules of the game, who's doing what, where, when, and why, so you know what to pray against, what to act against. And I think this is the interesting thing about this book. It goes into several levels of discourse on some of the conspiracies that are happening today, all the way from scientific and technical conspiracies that are out to change the very nature of man, and on, political, economic conspiracies. Talk about a few of those things.
Well, just one is educational. Look what education has been in America. That the elite began to transform, right about in World War II, they began to transform America. That we went from a true educational system, that they took men to Leipzig University, trained them in psychological conditioning, brought them back, trained an entire generation of PhDs that began to transform education. We are no longer taught how to reason, how to do anything, but we're taught to respond to stimuli.
Stimulus response, the old psychology, psychological idea.
Pavlov was a student of Wilhelm Wundt that all these men went and studied under University of Leipzig. So what they've done is they've made us all Pavlov's dogs. if we're following in the world system. But God's called us out of that.
He has indeed. And you know, the world system is, in our era, it's electronic. That is to say, electronic communications, electrical power, lighting, etc. Wonderful as it is, and I'm old enough that I can remember kerosene lamps in farmhouses. Wonderful as that is, it has come down now to the little device you hold in your hand and operate with your thumbs, or you can take a friend's picture, or you can make a phone call. It's kind of an electronic conspiracy, and don't you wish you were able to take this little thing you're holding and implant it in your brain so you wouldn't have to use your thumbs anymore? We've come that far.
Why go to 12 years of school when it can be uploaded in 12 minutes?
Exactly.
And that's scary.
It is scary. And the Shinar Directive is behind the modality, the methodology in this.
It's not only promising godhood, but it's also establishing control. The very phone that you think gives you freedom actually tracks your every movement.
Yes.
They know every dollar that you spend. They know everywhere that you go. That you're under a police state and a surveillance state, and you don't even know it, and you call it freedom.
And who's doing the surveilling? This is the question. And the who figures prominently in your book, because there is a large group that really is monitoring what's going on.
And they go beyond governments, that they're behind the corporate veil, if you will. And they're gathering information. There are corporations, Gary, that can gather information that is illegal for governments to gather. But they can gather it and then sell it to our government. All because you had something in your pocket called a phone.
Wow, I'm thinking about getting rid of mine right now. But what would I do? Seriously, all kidding aside, we're talking about spiritual warfare here. And I think the thing I like about this book, The Shinar Directive, is that it takes spiritual warfare into a new arena, if you will. I think all active Christians know how to pray. They know how to pray for healing. They know how to pray for blessing. They pray for their friends. But in terms of praying against a large enemy, the enemy that you point out in this book, I think most Christians are still naive.
You can't pray to be free from something that you don't know it exists. And I think what heaven is doing right now is God is opening our eyes. Not only what we do, but there are so many others that God's raising up right now to pick up the standard.
Yeah.
To get us to see so that we can begin praying, first of all, God, get me free of it. I want to walk in a greater kingdom. I'm not going to walk in Nimrod's kingdom. I'm going to walk in the kingdom where Jesus and Jesus alone is the king.
Mm-hmm.
Once I step out of that, then I'm finally in a position to pray against it. You can't do it while you're living in Babylon.
And you can't step out of it if you don't know what it is you're stepping away from.
That's right.
And that's basically the thrust of your book.
I've had so many people tell me that there's almost information overload because I've included so much. But it needed to be twice as long. I just barely scratched the surface, Gary, with what's going on.
But you've made it understandable.
Yeah.
That the system that began before Abram, before he was called out to cross that river and to become the model for all of the rest of us, the man who walked by faith, walked out of this world, this evil world that still exists. And just as the world of the just and the upright has grown down through the years, the evil world has grown down through the years. And this contest is coming to a latter-day giant conclusion.
It is. I think if we could see the Valley of Armageddon, what it's actually going to look like, I don't think that any of our sci-fi writers can even comprehend what it's going to look like. It is going to be the ultimate army that was ever assembled. But the truth is, Gary, it's going to last 30 seconds. When Jesus comes back, all he's doing is coming down to take out the trash before he starts his millennial reign.
Wow. Clean up planet Earth.
That's right.
Armageddon. Here's the thing, and it's the thing that I am impressed by when I read Mike's book. It's like having some lights turned on, that you so that you could see things you never really saw before. And the things that are very real in this world, you watch, for example, the elections right now, and you say, what in the world are these people thinking? What are they doing? Why are they acting the way they are? And you have your political pundits trying to tell you all about, numbers and conventions, et cetera, et cetera. But when approached from your perspective, you're looking at it from a higher level.
Yeah, we live in an oligarchy. We're no longer living in a republic. And it's basically come out both sides. Democrat, Republican basically said, no, we choose the candidate that we're going to give you. It's not you that chooses them.
Yeah.
We choose them. I mean, God is ripping off the veil for us to wake up and see what's going on.
And the oligarchy has roots that go back thousands of years.
And when we talk about old money,
Yes, really old money.
all the way back to ancient Babylon.
Or Shinar,
Yes.
the plain of Shinar, where they tried to build the Tower of Babel. And that's where the story starts. By the way, we're offering Mike's book, The Shinar Directive, for $19.95, and he's going to accompany it at no cost with this little data DVD. And I say little, but it's not so little. Tell us what's on the data DVD.
There's 5 gigabytes almost of data on there. We have over 100 books, many of them classic Christian books to help build your library. We also have 83 hours of seminars that I've taught in MP3 format. Many of them have PDF study guides to take you right along with it, just like you're sitting there at the seminar.
Wow.
And it's to build your family, build your faith, teach you spiritual warfare, and to get you to where you're kingdom oriented.
Well, Mike, may the Lord bless you and yours, and may he carry you into places that you need to go.
God bless you, brother.
Thanks for being here.
It's been a pleasure.
Dr. Michael Lake. We'll have to talk to Mike again when we have more time, because he's got so much to say. I guess you're working on another book?
It comes out in September.
Aha. We'll have you back to talk about that for sure. I'm Gary Stearman. Thanks for spending a little time with us. And remember, we're watching, so you keep watching too. Thanks for joining us on Prophecy Watchers. You can find us on the web at prophecywatchers.com, where you can sign up for our free email newsletter, or follow us at facebook.com/prophecywatchers. In the meantime, keep watching, everybody, and we'll see you soon.